Blessings and welcome. Boom! I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for July 12th through July 20th. We're taking it through to the 20th of 2018. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I feel so very blessed. Every time I go online, there's more and more subscribers at YouTube, and I'm so grateful for this beautiful community. I truly love this platform, and I love all the ways that we get to share together. Thank you, everyone, for joining me earlier today. Today being the 12th of July, Thursday. I do my live streams every Thursday morning. They're called 4D Trinity, where we bridge fourth dimensional consciousness, that is the true heart, love, honest, white light, pure love energy of your heart, where we're bridging those dimensions of your being through aligning our mind, body, and emotions with spirit. So thank you, everyone who comes out and who joins me on Thursday mornings. I'm so grateful for all of your comments, for your love, for your liking, and your sharing. So blessings for that. I'm going to put a little link here so you can go and check it out from today's show. What did we do? Chakra wisdom. We've been on this chakra roll, so we've just been rolling with the chakras. I do want to say thank you, everyone, for following me on Instagram, and I have a new little ditty down below in the show more box. You can donate to this channel. I'm so very grateful. I love and appreciate every single one of you and all of your comments, and I love posting here. And so thank you for any way that you can donate. It's through PayPal. You'll see the little link down there below. If you're interested in my books and anything else I have to offer, check it out down in the show more box. So today is the new moon. Okay, so it's not only a new moon, but it's the beginning of these 3 eclipses that are going to be like shh, like this. It's going to be like shh, like that. It's going to be like fully boom, boom, like phasing in, boom, boom, and phasing out. All of these energies in our lives. And it's really deep because what I was really guided like since last night to talk about, and I spoke about it just a little bit in this morning's 4DT, is integrity. And sometimes I use, as you know, the Voyager Tarot as a supplement to our Osho Zen. I always use the Osho Zen Tarot. And last night, the guides were like, you just got to pull that integrity card and read it, and that has to be the overview for this coming cycle. And it really speaks to that we are constantly changing. We are changing and evolving. Now, how aware we are of how much we're changing is a whole different thing, right? How aware you are is how awakened you are to your path, to your progression, to your growth. And the more that you illuminate in your spiritual growth and awareness and along your healing path, the more you're like, whoa, I am always changing. Things are always changing. And you see there's new spirals, new parts of yourself to be and become. And as you become initiated into these new levels of who you are, this speaks to integrity. And we're going to read the meaning from James Wanless from this is his tarot called the Voyager Tarot. And this is the card that wants to overview our reading today. Integrity. So this is all about having backbone. It's all about you being so fiercely attuned to your truth that you have the capacity and the ability to embody that through the words you speak, the actions you take, through everything you do in your life, that you magnificently and beautifully and majestically reflect your truth, your integrity. And when you stand on that soapbox of your integrity, you have backbone. You are standing in alignment with your truth, and this gives you strength. When you come and you live and you share from a place of integrity, you have a strength that is unfuckable with. This is a strength that is a soul strength deep within you, your substrata, that cannot be messed with. Your center cannot be messed with. So we're going to read, just kick us off, we're going to read from James Wanless' book on integrity. And then we'll shuffle our Osho Zen, okay? So I'm going to hold this up here. Hopefully I won't get too shaky and funky. Like light whose essence is eternal and does not break down, you have integrity. Integrity is made up of many virtues, symbolized by a variety of wands, working together to make you solid, strong, and dependable. Do things wholly and completely. The temple symbolizes the self-respect needed to honor and sanctify your light, the spirit that you are. Integrity means following your own way, your own path, being unafraid to stand alone, and holding ideals and values that you will not compromise or retreat from. Having the backbone to stand up for yourself and your convictions, spine. Like the mountain rising above the clouds, integrity is being open, honest, and not deceptive. It means standing as tall and straight as the skyscraper. The stone symbolizes your inviolability, your impenetrability by undesirable outside influences. Be as resolute as the warrior in defending your integrity. As resolute as the warrior. So, meaning that, like, no matter what happens, you're not going to do that path, or you're not going to say yes to this situation or this opportunity because it, violate is a strong word, but it violates your integrity. It goes against that which you stand for, that which you know is true to you. And that's very, very important. And it's interesting. I always do like a pre-shuffle before I start to record. And the card that fell out is letting go. So we're going to use this card too. And that's all I kept thinking about this week too, coming up to this new moon. Because I work with that energy, especially eclipses. I'm like, woo! Because eclipses are all like, cha-cha! What are you letting go of? And sometimes the thing about these eclipses is that when we don't let go of things, when we haven't cut those cords, excuse me, is that the planetary alignments and things will come in and they'll snip it for us. They'll take it away. Like that job all of a sudden will be gone. That relationship will be over. Things will just be done, will clear out, and there's a letting go, right? And so, but remembering that in the letting go process, there is a very, very valuable signature thing that happens where, in the releasing, in the relinquishing of that which no longer serves, of what you are done with, of what has served you, and now that time has done, what you get to be with and remember today is that as you release, as you let go, the truth of you is allowed to abide. So often we think about healing and spiritual paths of like doing things and making qualities, becoming stronger, becoming better, becoming, can I think of some better metaphors here? We think of changing ourselves somehow on the inside, and believe me, that does happen. Yet there's this other way of seeing things, of looking at things too, which shows us that often our healing is simply about removing, the removal of that which has been blocking the truth of you, the true light of you, so that the truth of you that's always been there can shine. So it's not so much about generating a new quality as it is about removing what's been blocking the natural, beautiful, powerful qualities within you that have always been there and that are ready to shine in their truest light, in their and in your true power and authority. And that is pretty darn powerful. So again, I am Tuesday May Thomas. I'm so grateful. This is our weekly tarot energy forecast for July 12th through the 20th of 2018. I use the Osho Zen Tarot. Let's take a moment. Take a breath, and we're going to shuffle out these cards. And we're going to call in our angels and our guides, all those divine loved ones. Did we just get a popper? It felt like we had a popper. Did you see a popper fly out? Oh my gosh, it felt like a card flew out. I don't see one down there though. Okay, so we're going to call in our angels and our guides, our ascended masters, animal totems. And we thank you so much for being with us every step of the way, for being with us and sending us signs and signals and openings and offerings and opportunities, divine synchronicities, divine appointments. We thank you so much. All the ways our divine angels, loved ones surround us and hold space for us to be our higher self, to embody our truth. We thank you so very much. And we ask that you illumine the way today for this reading. July 12th through July 20th of 2018, we welcome you. We invite your wisdom in. I invite you in to this divine reading. I sign myself into the keynote of everyone guided to watch, that I may channel and communicate the most high messages that express the highest paths of love and light that truly serve all of us, collectively and individually, for the highest good of all. So we're not getting any poppers. So what I'm guided to do is to take the deck in half, and we're going to pull 3 from this top deck. Understanding. Let's see where else we're guided to go. Possibilities. This has been a popper of recent readings. Aloneness. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Now let's go to the second deck, and we're going to pull 3. Divinely guided. Oh, and what is that? Guidance. Divinely guided guidance. How about that? The dream, the dream, the dream. Conditioning. Okay, so we're going to start here because we have a lot to work with. So on the top row here, and remember that our overview is integrity and this letting go energy. This is just so very powerful and beautiful, because if we think about this eclipse that we're in, July 12th, and I know if you're in Europe, I believe it starts July 13th. This is the first of 3, and this is the gateway. Look at us. This is us, this little bird, on the perch at the gateway of this new horizon. Understanding is the key code of this card. It is a card of the emotions. There is an emotional intelligence within you that has been maturing, that you have been percolating and really sitting with. And it's time to go through the gateway. It's time to go through the gateway. And there's that spiritual saying, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get it completely right, but it speaks to, I'll hold your hand, I'll walk you up to the door, but you have to walk through the door. Something like that. I know it's much more, I don't know, succinct than that in its actuality. But that's the idea. It's like you have been supported. You've been supporting yourself, which is so very beautiful. And you've made it this far. You've made it this far. You're at this gateway now. You're at this next stop, this next portal where you can go through and be born anew, where you can go through and truly let go of those patterns that have been holding you back from you embodying your true integrity, your true path, your true spine, your true staff of power. So understanding speaks to you taking that breath and taking that step forward and allowing yourself to trust your heart, allowing yourself to, remember last week, I'll put a link here for that tarot, it was all about expanding your theme, expansion of your theme. Like if you had, 20 seconds to say, what's your gig all about? If you're like a musician or an artist or an actor or a landscaper or an architect or whatever your gig is, like whoever the higher up, the guru of your world, of that world would be, if all of a sudden you bumped into that person and they took a liking to you and they're like, I'm going to give you a couple minutes of my time. What are you all about? What are your books about? What are your teachings about? What are you here to do? What's the work here that you're here to do and share in the world? Like, could you be able to succinctly and clearly speak that from your heart like a badass? And let it mirror the integrity of the truth of your heart. And even more so than that, can you expand on that theme? Have you been saying the same thing? Oh, I'm a singer and it's just nice to do what I love to do, which is great if that's the truth. But if there's more in there, if there's more in there that's like, girl, you want to win a Grammy and be on the front of Rolling Stone magazine, but you're like not honoring that, you're not expanding your theme to include that. So when you meet a music producer, you're like, yeah, I'm okay just playing at the little coffee shop down the street. They're going to be like, oh, okay, then I'm going to save my opportunity to sign up some new talent for someone who really wants it. You see, you have to want it. You have to want it. And we're not talking about a want that is needing, because I often profess and I often teach to move away from wanting, to move away from needing. This is the desire. This is the passion point, though. This isn't coming from a place of lack or neediness or wanting, like if I don't get it, I'm going to be a really sourpuss and I'm going to, no. It's not that. It's from it's yours. It's yours. But it's also the detachment that it's yours, but if it doesn't happen this time around, you did your best to shoot those hoops. And even if you made the basket and you shot the hoops and you scored the points, but you don't get the gig, it's having that faith and that integrity to know that you are showing up, You are doing what needs to be done, and you still have this path ahead of you. Even when you win the Grammy, even when you get on the cover of Rolling Stone, it's not over, honey. You gotta keep going for it, right? Unless you're really over it. But this is us. We're at the gateway. You've worked on expanding your theme. If you haven't, there's still time. Get to it. Get out your journal. Get out your tape recorder. Write notes on the mirror, whatever you need to do. To quest, to meditate, to go into like, what does that look like? What would it look like if I went deeper into expanding my theme? How can I creatively invite more into my life by showing up as more, by speaking that I am more? And this is the challenge, and it's emotional. Look at this understanding, and ultimately, this is you, this is me, us understanding who we are through breaking through those chains of limitations of how we would normally show up and what we would usually settle for. This is where we're like, yeah, no, I'm going for Rolling Stone magazine. Yep. But you're detached if you make it or not. But that set point of that aspiration does something in you. When you know it's a part of your truth, whether it ends up being a 3D reality or not, when it's in there as a seed of truth tickling you, whatever aspiration that is pushing you to be more, to see yourself as more in the world, when you allow yourself to vibrate as that by speaking it so, by even just playfully being like, yeah, I mean, personally, I am not a best-selling author yet, but I've just learned. I've been writing for 8 years. Published a couple books, right? Slowly building my platform, all this stuff. But I've never embraced this idea of being a best-selling author. And I think it has something to do with some old, thing that I agree, some sacred BS contract that I agreed to so many lifetimes ago that was like, took a vow of poverty or something as a nun. And it's like, okay, let me cut that cord. Or that thinks that fame is bad, am I selling out, or whatever. All those things that as you go deeper into the layers of who you are, you begin to realize, like, what's true and what's not true. And I'm totally excited to be a best-selling author. Woo! And this is you. This is you too. What's your aspiration? Expand on your theme from last week. What have you come up with? What creatively, what from your heart, emotionally have you come up with? And as you jump through that gateway by simply speaking it so, remember, speaking the blue of the throat, of the throat chakra. This grounds our reality. This grounds us. By speaking it so, it sends out ripples. I mean, we know this about the grids and the energy and the way that this energy moves through the matrix, but it connects us to all those like energies and it lifts us up. We are giving ourselves sustenance and nurturance, but it's also the initiation, because what you really, really want, right? What is really, really true to you, those high aspirations, causes some people to have a nervous breakdown, and that's why it's a card of the emotions, because it's emotional. It's emotional. To get over our stuff, to break through all the fear, all the reasons we've learned why we can't, the self-doubt, the self-loathing, we don't want to upset other people, we're afraid to shine bright, all that stuff, that like weird ego, subconscious, like cock-blocking energy, you don't need that anymore. And that's the first card out of the gate that's saying like, look, let that go, jump, 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 jump. As you jump, then look at what the next card is, possibilities. There you are. You transform. You transform from the little dove. And the little dove is beautiful. The little peace dove is beautiful. Yet, it's used to living in a certain confined space of the cage. And now, as you jump through, boom, you become this wise eagle. And remember, the eagle can fly very high, and the eagle eye, has a different perspective than the version of you that has been caged. Think of it. You've been caged in this cage, and you've had a certain perspective about yourself and about the world and life and how things are going to happen or not happen, etc., etc. And you can think you know how things are going to go or how it looks from that cage, but you don't know until you have that courage to launch yourself out there and start to live and embody those expanded themes of self. And then boom, as soon as you get out there, it's like you become, that's the alchemy though, is it's like you have to have the courage to take the next step, even though you don't know what that next step is, or where it's going to be, but just to have the courage to say yes to it within yourself and step through the gateway when it appears and show up. That's like the Disneyland Cinderella thing where all of a sudden the little white dove becomes the badass fierce eagle. And all of a sudden you're given this huge terrain of possibilities. This is a fire card. Possibilities are on fire for you. But first you must go through the gateway. First you must go through the initiation of knowing the emotional maturity that it takes to truly embody that version of you that says yes to the truth in your heart, that version of you that says yes to that expanded theme of you, okay? And that we have aloneness right next to this as the third card in this row, and this is a major arcana. This speaks to only you can do it for yourself. This is like the hermit, be a light unto yourself. Only you can do it for yourself. Again, your friends, the gurus, your spiritual teachers, your yoga teacher, your Reiki teacher, whatever it might be, can hold your hand, can support you, can give you all the advice and the teachings and everything. Yet at the end of the day, they can bring you right up to the door. But it's you that has to walk through. It's you that has to, or that gets to do your healing on yourself. You can go see a million healers, and believe me, I've seen this over the years. You can go see a million, zillion healers. But if you're not ready to heal, if you don't commit to healing your addictions, your path, your past, your whatever it is, it ain't gonna happen. Okay? So this is about you being true to you and knowing, really knowing as the master that only you can do it for yourself. This is your path. This is your time also. This is your time. Next row, we have this conditioning. So this goes with our letting go card. All of these, and look, it's an emotional card as well. A blue diamond here on the bottom, representing the emotions. And as we know, we've seen this card before, the little drop of water falling from the edge of the leaf right here, right where my finger is. Whoop. But we also see that down below, there's a ripple going on. So there's already been a drop of water. So in a way, you've already let go. In a way, you've already been preparing yourself, or the universe has been preparing you for this shift by shifting things around in your life. And it is time. This eclipse is saying like, ooh, and because aloneness and conditioning are the two major arcanas, and they're diagonal from each other so far as we've laid the cards out, this conditioning is saying like, it's going to be ripped away from you. All that is not, integrally aligned, all that does not give you power. If you're in a relationship that you're over, you shouldn't be in, this is almost like, okay, okay, I'm getting it. What this card is saying is that all the places you're living a lie are going to come to light. All those places you've been living a lie are going to come to light. You are no longer going to be a sheep. You can no longer, because you can't. If you stay in here, if you stay in the cage and you don't jump through and you don't expand your theme and you just keep playing at the coffee house, which is fine if that's truly in your heart and that's fully fulfills you. But if you're a rock star and you at least want to give it a darn shot of getting to the Grammys or making a #1 hit single or being on the top of the Pops, Rolling Stone, all that stuff, if you don't at least give yourself that opportunity to jump through hoops, to be that eagle, to face those opportunities, then you will be bound. Then you will be bound through these conditioning stories of fear and all the ways that you think you are not enough, that you doubt yourself, but also that you doubt the possibility of all the ways the divine can come through the universe and serve you. The more that you serve you, and believe me, I'm talking to myself right now too, the more that you can serve you, the more that we learn how to serve ourselves, the more the universe is like, here you go. Here you go. It's like it's that easy. It's that simple, but it's not that easy, right? Conditioning. So everything that's ready to let go is going to let go. This lion has a sheep tied to his back, tied around his little paws. He's like constricted by thinking that he's a sheep, by thinking he's something he's not. And what I'm seeing, this visual is like kind of really crazy. It's like this knife just cutting those ropes, cutting those cords, and the lion's like, ah, like the lion face in yoga, just like, ah. just like fully like boom, like the lion's almost been waiting, you know. And sometimes it happens like that. Like sometimes you can be in a relationship, you can be in a job, you can be in a situation where you're like, I am so done with this, I am so over this, oh my God. And you can't find it within yourself to jump through and to be like, I quit, or I'm leaving you, I'm packing all my bags, or whatever it is that you need to do the snip snap and let go. Well, that's where at this eclipse time, the universe will just come in and like that little knife or that big knife, just cutting those cords, those ties that bind, it's just, you know, it just cuts them. And then all of a sudden you're like, you're free. And so there is a like get out of jail free card energy with the eclipse too, which I love. Yet it doesn't mean we don't continue being in our truth and expanding our theme. So there may be areas of your life this week where you're like, OMG, I really didn't like that job anymore. And I got released, and I'm getting full pay for whatever, you know, where you don't lose out, where it's like a benefit almost. And in a way, it's almost like, well, because you stayed, even though you knew you were so done with that, you're almost getting rewarded, right? So I know what I'm saying is almost like going inside out of what I was saying earlier. But there is this, it's like a double wave, where on one hand, it is vitally important for you to know where it is time for you to stand up and walk through the gateway. And on another hand, be ready, because there's going to be some stuff. I keep feeling relationships for people where you've just been hanging out. You've just been like going along with the thing, but your heart has not been in it for some time. And ka-chee, boom, it's just going to be done. Like some crazy thing. It's just going to end it. It's just going to be like, there it is. But this is, I see you. Okay. So I'm getting this very interesting download. So there's this complex level now. So we have this gateway energy to go through, but we also have this spontaneous, like, boom, you're free, get out of jail free. But are you going to leave? So here's the thing, is that sometimes we want what we want to get out of the job, out of the relationship, the opportunity comes where it's like, the cords get cut and you're free. You're free. Jump, go, fly. You know you have wings, you can do it. But you don't leave. But you don't go through the gateway. You stay at that job. They're like, well, you can either leave and get a severance package, or if you stay, we'll put you in the da-da-da department, and then you can blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't pay as much, but it's blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, it's safe here in the cage. I never really have to leave. And I know at least I'll get my dental and my health and my, you know, and it's like relationships become like dental and healthcare plans. It's like, well, we share the rent and we don't have to, you know, and I share the Wi-Fi bill, even though you're fucking miserable. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Pardon my French. I'm getting a little fired up here. But because it's like, this is what we see all the time. I see this all the time with clients. And I'm not, I mean, believe me, what do I know? I'm just here sharing the story of these tarots this week. And believe me, I'm talking to myself, and I don't mean to dispense any anger or weird energy. So I take that all back. And I ground it into love and into light. At the same time, it happened. And you know, when the F word happens like that, like in a very vigorous way, it feels like it's a big exclamation point. And it's for some of you out there. It's not going to be for everyone. But that, whoever that energy was supposed to hit, you know who you are. You know who you are, and you know it's time. You know it's time. Okay. Because when we don't, we become this. When we don't expand on our theme, when we don't jump through the gateway and take that eagle vision and open ourselves to greater opportunity, look, then we're still in the blue. We're still in the emotional haze, and we become the dream and the dreamer. Look at her. She's looking over her shoulder and dreaming, romanticizing about being held by this big Fabio character. You know, she's like, if only my life would be like this. If only this would happen. If only that would happen. Well, if only your guidance has been telling you, has been showing you the way. Now your job is to honor it, to listen to it, and to with trust. Trust it. To allow it, to surrender to it. And again, I am sorry for raising my voice earlier. I got very worked up. I am a 360-degree person, though. I'm not just one-dimensional. And so are you. And I think that's the point of this reading, is that it's saying, like, you know, sometimes standing up for your integrity does mean raising your voice. Sometimes that job or that relationship and you moving through that gateway does mean you having to stand up to the bully at work of your boss, or the bully of your partner, that you're ready to leave that relationship. And sometimes you do have to raise your voice. So perhaps that's why that little exclamation point was there. You know, for many years in my life, I had no throat chakra. I could sing. I was a singer. But like communicating my truth, especially when it came to like sex, sexuality, or healthy boundaries, energetically, psychically, psychic manipulation and sexual energy, like I could not establish my, like, you know, my healthy boundaries in life through the words that I spoke. And so that was like my trip me up initiation over and over again. So I get it. But believe me, when you start to find that strength, and because there's so many blues here, throat chakra, also the emotions. But when you start to find that ability to find your tongue, sometimes, yes, you get tongue-tied and you stumble, and it's not as graceful or succinct as you would pray it might have been. But you find your way. And sometimes it comes out a little volatile, and it comes out a little spicy or loud or, you know, clunky, because you're not used to using it. But it's okay. There's emotion in there. There's things for you to feel. And that's what it's about. So we're going to pull a couple more. Let's see what we have to finish off this reading of July 12th through July 20th through 2018. We thank you, our angels, our guides, and all the divine blessed light beings, who hold space for us. Let's check these out. Okay, so they all fell in a nice little pile. 5 cards. Change. So this is us. This is the eclipse. Change. Another major arcana. We have aloneness, conditioning, and change. So it's just saying, it's just validating, like, here we go. Change game. Politics. Again, this is the part of us that is, you know, this is us that has the masks on. That's in the mind, that's playing mind games, that's not being honest with ourselves. And look what's right next to it. Then this is the guilt that we feel when we're not honest with ourselves. When we stay at that job too long, we stay in that relationship too long. You know, you're a bartender and you really want to be America's Next Top Model. You know, and Tyra Banks, I don't even know if that show is still on, but like, you know, if it was, you know, and then you can submit your headshot or whatever, fill in the application, but you don't. It's that kind of thing where you don't show up with integrity as your true self. And so you're like, you feel guilty because you know it's not true. But look at what's so beautiful above head is you're always one. Your spirit is always divinely aligned in its oneness. All you have to do is come back to it. These violet colors, these beautiful jasmine flowers it's the scent of your God consciousness, of your ability to come back to the truth within yourself. And look at abundance and existence. You know, hear what we say, meditate, meditate, meditate. Like every day, get your ritual of meditating on. That's how you strengthen spiritually your staff of power, your spinal column, your integrity. Meditate. Know who you are naked. That's another major arcana. I mean, this is so powerful. Look at this person. They are naked sitting on a lily pad in the middle of the cosmos. And they're just like, I am, or I don't even know what they're saying, but they're just or something. But they're just being themselves, and they're naked. And that's symbolic for, sure, no clothes, but it's symbolic for truth. Right? It's symbolic for all the masks, all the stories that we've been telling ourselves and others. They're gone now. They've been released, and we are just sitting in our pure truth. And when you sit in your pure truth, look at what we end with, this beautiful abundance card. Balance of masculine, feminine. We've been going through this forever. Last week's too. the powerful masculine and feminine energies. And you know, this character is, remember I've said this before when this has come up, so even though this is a male character, in this card, the character's like lounging, like smoking a cigarette, or there's incense burning, or it's all very like sultry, right? And you know what he's doing? He's in his balanced masculine and feminine, and he is actually in a feminine energy posture, if you will, because he is sort of reclined, and he is allowing things to come to him, which is the feminine way. It's allowing all good, all opportunities, all possibilities to come to you. And when the right opportunity, possibility comes, that's when you access the masculine energy and you say, yes. And you say, I'm going to make that phone call. And you say, I'm going to apply for that job. That feels good. I'm going to go for that audition, or whatever it might be. It's very relaxed. It's very like everything is taken care of. So take care of yourself and everything will be taken care of. That's our message. Maintain your integrity. Excuse me. He sits on a book. This is your book. This is you, if you are this character, and that's the book of you. That is the book of your life. And you know, to the degree that you are honest with yourself is the degree that you are going to be wise, is the degree that you are going to know thyself, and then be able to live from that place of true authenticity. This person, this figure that is ever abundant, knows themselves, their true selves, not the version of themselves that shows up with all the masks on, with all the stories, with all the conditioning, all those layers, and like what they wish could happen, but the version of you that shows up as that eagle that's like, I know who I am, integrally speaking, this is my truth, I have let go of all those things, or I'm in process. You know, sometimes it takes time, it takes a little process, sometimes it's instantaneous, but I'm letting go, I release. And I allow myself to release the guilt, to release the masks, to come back to knowing that only I can do this journey for myself. So I listen to my guidance. I create the correct conditions that I may be one with the universe, one with God, one with Source, whatever name you give it, so that these changes that are upon me and in my life, in my body, in my mind, and my consciousness happen with great ease and great flow, and that I may be present, that I may be a conscious participant, conscious co-creator, that I may be consciously a witness to this beautiful symphony of possibilities that come to rise in my arena, in my life. Woo! I love this. This is so juicy, powerful. What are we going to call this week's reading? I don't know. I got to figure that out still. Wow. So many blessings to you. I'm so very grateful for this beautiful community. Again, follow me on Instagram. Oh, and if you want a personal reading, I am doing a special. $30 for 30-minute reading. You just get to review one of my books. And if you're like, well, I don't have one of your books, if you just want to check out a little free book, it's called The NOWOSPHERE. The link is down in the Show More box. It's very short and it's very good. It's all about understanding. It's very good. Listen to me. It's very good. It's all about understanding your spiritual sensitivity. So I pray it will serve you. But you just read the little book, leave me a review on Amazon or on iBooks, and then hit me up with an email and say, hey, I left you a review. Let's do 30 for 30. I use PayPal. I use Google Hangouts and FaceTime. Go to my website and subscribe at TuesdayMayThomas.com. You will receive my monthly love letter, but do check your social, your promos, your junk mail. It might go in there. Drag it into your inbox so you'll get it straight in there. And you will also receive a copy of my book, The Higher Self, Blueprint of Mastery. It's a little mini book when you subscribe to my website. So I'm so very grateful. Thank you so much, all the new subscribers. If this is your first time hanging out, hit the subscribe button, hang out. And again, remember, you can donate to my channel. All the links are down below in the Show More box. I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed. I love you. I appreciate you. Namaste with so much love. Woo, I can't wait to see what this next eclipse brings about. But I'll see you later, a little later. All the best. So much love. Blessings.